President of the Monashee Society BC, and they're gonna go through a quick overview of our Hunter Heritage Program and just kind of where we are to date and what's going to be coming up down the pipe. So, yeah.
Thanks a lot, Robin. Hey guys, well, welcome. Today's really low-key, really informal. Basically, what we want to do is just keep you guys up to date what Hunter Heritage is. We said last year we were going to do this right at this time. Actually, it was a year ago. We announced our Hunter Heritage Program. A lot's happened since then. We've tried to share a lot of it online through social media, and but that stuff is always challenging. So, you know, so we're going to try and just give you guys an overview of what we're doing. Really low-key, really informal. Just ask questions. Stop us. It's more of a discussion, to be honest with you. I'm going to give you some information. If you guys want some more info, ask for it, and we'll be happy to share it with you. So you got my introduction. We've got a lot of our committee here. Mike Sutherland's our chair, and he's busy today at the range helping out there, so he couldn't make it. Colin Peters is on our committee. Richard Christensen, Peter Gucci, and is there anyone else I'm missing? Joe's not. Yeah, so that's it for our committee today. And Adam's here. Adam's our hired guy. So Adam's our brand manager, basically, and he's building this platform effectively for us. He's working for us. That's where our money's going. So he's got all the answers, and that's why he's here. I'm just going to tell you what we're doing, and he's going to tell us how we're going to get there. So with regards to today, we got about an hour. We can take a few extra minutes if you guys have questions. Like I said, totally informal. Come up, ask us questions. We're going to do our best to answer you guys. But today what we're going to do is just an overview of what Hunter Heritage is, how it came to be, what exactly it is. We hear all these terms, Hunter Heritage, 1Campfire. There's a little bit of ambiguity there, so we'll try and clear some of that up. We'll talk about new hunter recruitment and one of the problems that we're having in our hunt space, contributing factors that are contributing to our loss of social license, why we're getting creamed in media in general, and just with our social license. We're going to look at some other groups that have tackled this issue and some of the successes and failures they've had. Then we're going to specifically hone in on 1Campfire and talk about that and what we're doing there, and then kind of our plans going forward with regards to that. So, an overview. Basically what happened is the Grizz hunt went away, what was it, 16 months ago? It was December of 17, I think. Is that somewhere in there? Where they actually canceled it. And that's when we started talking at the board level about our concerns about loss of hunting opportunity, the grizzly bear hunt, how it was a social decision, it wasn't a science-based management decision, which contravenes what we believe in as an organization. And our vice president at the time, Mike Stelter, and I had very similar feelings, and I just put some words together on a document, shared it with Mike, and that kind of went out, and it kind of grew a bit. We sent it out to our membership, solicited some feedback, and we got a lot of positive feedback. Usually we send something out and we don't hear anything. And we got, I think, 20 replies, and it was overwhelming. Like, we need to do something. We have a problem here. We have to address this. So we discussions went on, and we struck a committee in March of 18, a year ago. It was the Thursday night before AGM. And we decided we were going to form a Hunter Heritage Committee. And that was in line with our constitution and bylaws that said to maintain and promote the right to hunt in a safe and ethical manner, to foster goodwill, sportsmanship, and fair chase in light of all rules and regulations. So that's right in our constitution and bylaws. It's actually 2E of our constitution. So we felt we had a mandate to do that, and we had the support of our membership. So we marched forward with our Hunter Heritage campaign. So how does Hunter Heritage become 1Campfire? Hunter Heritage is our internal program. That's our committee. That name won't change. That's always going to be the committee. It's kind of like our membership committee, our communications committee, our projects committee. We have a Hunter Heritage committee. Now the brand we've developed is called 1Campfire, and that was Adam's good work. That was Adam's brainchild. He came up with that brand and developed it. So you'll hear Hunter Heritage and 1Campfire kind of bantered back and forth almost synonymously, but Hunter Heritage is our committee, 1Campfire is the brand of the product, and that's what we're taking to our audience, is the 1Campfire brand. The words Hunter Heritage won't be mentioned when we get the program out in front of our target audience. So that brings us back to, why do we do this? Is there a place for hunting in society anymore? Diminishing relevance of hunting in the eyes of the broader public, concerns regarding social license. As we know, all hunters' social license is diminishing daily. Social media is killing us. So the question is, what do? We can try and address this, we can try and work through it, or we can do nothing. and we just felt that the risk was too high of doing nothing. So this is our attempt to deal with some of these concerns. Now if you turn, we're just going to do a quick look at this, but if you look at recruitment, this is the number of hunting licenses that were sold in BC, and this goes back to 1981. You see it peaked out around 180,000. And that was back when they taught core in schools. People were learning to hunt and shoot. Jerry Bailey, who's here from the North Peace region, Jerry talks about shooting 22s in the basement of their school. That they would go to school. Is that right, Jerry? It was in the basement, or was it?
Yeah, we had a range.
Yeah.
Pilot, CPR pilot would bring up 10,000 rounds of 22 shells of the bobtail carrot in the cockpit of the airplane.
How about it, right? So there we go. So that was the heyday. And in 2003, 2004, they changed that. They pulled core out of the schools, and they also raised the dues for hunting licenses. And we've seen a massive drop. It was over 50% drop in hunters that year. Now it's slowly dwindled up, but if we look at the population of BC over that time, that bell curve looks like this. So you can see that we're just not keeping up in terms of recruitment. But this program really isn't about recruitment for us. That's not why we're doing it. It's more about the social license itself. So what are some of the factors that are contributing to this? Well, we're out of sight and out of mind. You know, we used to have smaller rural communities. People would see hunters, they would come to school, they would have maybe rifles in their truck. People would go hunting, it was normal. Now with our dense urban populations, downtown Vancouver, downtown Victoria, Kelowna, people just don't see hunters anymore. It's just not as relevant. And when they do, it's in social media. Special interest groups are well funded. I think I've seen a dollar figure, was $1 billion that the anti-hunting lobby spent in the US last year. $1 billion is where I think that comes from an NRA source. So, you know, I haven't found whether or not it's true. $1 billion for the anti-hunting community. So that tells you the money that's working against us. And we see with the grizzly bear consultation process, you can see where these comments were coming in from. A lot of these comments were from outside of Canada. They weren't even consulting British Columbians. That wasn't a requisite in this consultation period. Didn't matter what your residency was. Anti-hunting initiatives target mainstream media. They do a great job. Obviously, they've been doing a good job. They've been beating us at our game, basically. The celebrity issue, Miley, Ray Cyrus, Ricky Gervais, and then we have some issues with the mainstream media where they tend to focus on issues that aren't necessarily in our favor. They focus on things that are against us effectively, right? And they don't focus on the things that are important to us, again, in many cases, is science-based wildlife management. So predator hunts get beat up all the time in the media and that sort of stuff, even though that there's science-based management and sound decision-making for those reasons. And then social media is just our scourge. It's just absolutely destroying us. And I don't need to talk a lot about that, but I will briefly. But there's 2 cases of high profile internationally. In 2015, the Secretary of State for Economic Affairs called for an international ban on trophy hunting. It hasn't gone anywhere yet. And we had this latest one, and that was with the Nicole Schwidtka incident. And the Scottish First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, stated government will review the current situation. And they were basically trying to ban hunting in the UK. So again, that's gone nowhere, but it's these things are happening in our midst. Closer to home, this blew up in the media. Adam made some comments on CBC. Actually, it was good, and it's really nice to see that Adam's becoming a source for that the mainstream media is actually talking to people in our community and hearing our side of the story. I think you commented on this in CBC, and I think Mark Hall commented on it, and I think they consulted the Yukon, like you and Helen as well, right? So that was a positive step in that sense. But anyway, so there was a big to-do about this picture, and then you can see what people are saying on social media about this. Now this is off one of our BC hunting and fishing pages, or Hunting BC or something. It's a social media page. And Trev was the one that commented on this. And he's like, what are you idiots doing? Like, so there's mom and kissing the nuts of a bull for good luck with a beer in her hand. And this is the stuff that we're promoting to the general public, right? This is our flagship. This is what we're saying we're doing. So we have to do a better job of educating our own. Shannon, are you still in the room? Yeah, so Shannon just did a talk, and I think a lot of it was to address this, right? Yeah. So we have to do a better job, and that was part of our mandate with Hunter Heritage, that we wouldn't just run the program and it be an outreach program, we had to do some internal education. We had to talk to our people about some of the mistakes we're making, and we have to hold each other accountable. I just had this conversation with Trevor and Joe. We were sitting upstairs, and Trevor was saying, well, you know, in that liberal engagement session, there was some misinformation there. We're saying stuff that's not true, and we have to be accountable, and we have to say stuff that is accurate, and we have to be accountable for it, right? So we have to do a better job, I think, internally. And I'm not saying that you know, we're to blame for all this. I don't think we are, but I think we can do a better job as a community. So yeah, this is just some of the things that have been said. This was from that same article that I just referenced. Mark Hall saying that hunters are losing control of the hunting narrative, and the way social media is being used is contributing to our demise. And then Adam, we hunters have an image issue right now. There's no hiding the fact. So this is definitely from that CBC article. So what does that leave us? So we're becoming irrelevant in the eyes of the general public. Our social license is being severely compromised. As a corollary, hunter recruitment is not benefiting from it, it's dwindling. And the bigger thing for me, and I think a lot of us in this room, and the thing that we're concerned about that started this whole process for the Wild Sheep Society of BC is losing hunting opportunity. And that's the big one there, the grizzly bear. It's not the only reason, don't get me wrong. If the anti-hunting community said, we're done, we're happy, grizzly bear hunts over, maybe we say, yeah, well, why would we waste our money protecting, you know, we lost the hunt, it sucks, yeah, it'd be nice to hunt them, but whatever. But the thing is, we know they're just getting started. This is just phase one. And so what's next? Is it the black bear? Is it cougars? Is it sheep? I don't know, sheep maybe. And so yeah, I think we need to pay attention. And it's not just happening here. Black bears in New Jersey. You cannot hunt black bears in public land in New Jersey. I think you can privately, but you can't hunt in public land in New Jersey. Complete ban, no science. It's abundant, it's filled with black bears. Yeah. So no science-based management decision making there. The grizzly bear hunt in Wyoming, Idaho, and there's a whole bunch of stories there. There's a lot going on well above beyond the social license, but that's still a factor there. And trying to ban mountain hunting in Arizona. Our good friends at the Arizona Desert Bighorn Society, they had a huge campaign because they wanted to ban cat hunting down there, and that's their own predator management tool. And they were absolutely fearful it was going to wipe out their ungulated populations. So a very serious concern, and they fought this really hard. I think it was the Humane Society that launched that campaign, but they eventually dropped it. They just couldn't get the support for it. So what do we do from here? So nothing, and we're just going to take a quick look at some other groups, what they're doing, and then we're going to talk about 1Campfire. Adam's going to talk. So this is in Colorado. Colorado sportsmen kind of had a grassroots movement, kind of like us.